All right, so today I have Coach Jimmy Angelis and his two kids, Cameron and Cierra. I met Jimmy first about 2 years ago while coaching at Orlando City Youth Soccer. Actually, you were unable to make one of your practices, and so I filled in for you.
That's right.
So kind of just take me through what your path has been for coaching soccer.
Well, first, Sarah, I want to thank you for what you do for our community. I know I said it multiple times, and I want to take the opportunity again to tell you how important this is, because you're one of the ambassadors of trying to keep the community together, especially with the sports and the kids. And what you do for the kids is amazing.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
My path has been all over the place. I've been coaching for about 28 years total. I started in New Jersey once I finished playing college. And then I came to Florida and started with Orlando Kicks, I believe was the name of it. And then after that, I went to East Orange. From East Orange, we went to CFU for a little bit. CFU turned into CFK. Then I went to FC America, Orlando City, which is where we met. And then from Orlando City, I'm back at Florida Kraze Krush now.
Okay. And so obviously you've not only just done club soccer, you've also had some experience with high school coaching and at the collegiate level. Kind of touch base with your time at Winter Park. If you've been any other high schools, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I started in 2004 with actually Winter Springs, and I was the assistant coach there. And in 2011, the opportunity came to go to Winter Park High School and take over the program. And I was at Winter Park for approximately 10 years. And then last year was my last year with the team. And then I had the opportunity to work with Randy Belly and Jess Belly at Southeastern University as a recruiting coordinator. And this year, actually, we're keeping our fingers crossed to come back, because I just took a job with Polk State as a recruiting coordinator as well. So yeah, that's been my path at the college level and the on the high school level.
So I know, kind of to jump into this next topic, you mentioned recruiting. What specifically has drawn you to that? Is it the connection that you can help with getting kids to the next chapter in their life?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it has something to be said about recruiting and a lot of questions. So when I got the job at Southeastern, working with Randy and Jess, I connected with a lot of college coaches, and I noticed that it was a little of this connection, or at least a miscommunication between players and coaches. And I wanted to be the first one to kind of approach that. I utilized, obviously, the players that I had to communicate with them and create more contacts. To be honest with you, I can tell you that there's a college for every kid. You just have to find the right level and the right environment for them. And obviously, that will be, that's what we do. And at FKK, I have the opportunity to work as a recruiting coordinator for second level teams, third level teams. And thank God we've been successful. This year we put, I think it's 3 or 4 girls from the third or fourth team that are playing at a college level. So we work very hard to try to make sure we find the right environment for them. But I believe there is a college for everybody. And I'm passionate about recruiting. It's just something to say about that. It attracts me a lot, and I really like it.
Yeah, and I think you can even say that in the same sense as the professional level too. There is a league, there is a division, there's a place for players who have been playing at the collegiate level and want to take it to the next chapter. There's so many different levels of soccer throughout Europe, all over the world. I know when I was finishing up, I was kind of doubting myself if I could really make it to that next level. But I've seen so many teammates who have gone on and played and had such cool experiences. Even if it isn't at a top world class program, you're still able to experience that kind of surrounding and environment. So it's really great what you do with that. Obviously, I've mentioned your role and your impact with club soccer, but just from my brief stint coaching in the Orlando area for the last 2 years, I've come across a lot of players, a lot of parents that have had you coach their kids or have coached themselves. And I've heard probably nothing but good, just great words about how you are as a person, but how you are as a coach. What do those relationships with those players and those parents mean to you?
Well, that kind of make me feel a little old about knowing that so many people has been around. But it's always good to hear the positive stuff. And to be honest with you, I think that the players, I kind of relate to those players the same way I relate to my kids. And I push them hard. I make sure that they do well, not only on the pitch but off the pitch as well. And I try to make sure that we create a good environment. The parents, I think, are part of the project. We cannot leave them out because obviously they're part of this process. So it is important to make the parents involved, and I think I've been successful. My personality helps me to kind of get a good relationship with the parents, get a relationship with the girls, and I mean, I'm glad to hear that the good things have come to you.
Yeah, I think somewhat coaching soccer, and just for my first few years of coaching, it's so much more than X's and O's and formations and stuff like that. You're really trying to help raise some of these players, not only their soccer IQ, but just their IQ in general, and making those connections with the families, making sure that the families are enjoying having their kids at practice and getting the most out of that. Besides soccer, I know you also have some involvement with the Winter Park Police Department. Kind of talk about that dynamic between law enforcement and coaching.
Well, when I started, obviously I was coaching, and I continue to coach through my career with the police department. 2 years working the streets. I learned a lot about the streets, and I kind of focused my career more in my career than the coaching part, because it was important part of my life and my kids were growing. But then I applied for a position with within the school program. So now I'm currently an SRO, which is a school resource officer at Winter Park Police. So the relation between the players and the coaching part is very, very similar. Sometimes you have to put some kids in their place, and making sure you hold them accountable for what they do. But at the same time, you have to create that resource and that relationship where they'll be able to come back to you with other issues and other things that you can help them with. So to me, I think it relates. It's very similar, but it's just based on my experience and obviously the type of job that I do now. Obviously, law enforcement is very different than coaching, but there's certain units and certain things that we do all the time that are very similar to the coaching part. So working at the school and with the same girls that I coach, obviously has made my career a lot easier. We're going through tough times, and I don't see them anymore, but it's similar. It's very, very similar.
To kind of get your two kids involved in the conversation, Cameron plays soccer himself for the club that you coach at, FKK. Cameron, kind of just take me through why you decided you're a goalkeeper. So what kind of persuaded you, or were you always a goalkeeper? Kind of talk me through that.
Well, I started playing on the field, and then when I was a lot younger, I played in the goal one game, and I saw that I had a little bit of potential. And then I stopped playing for a long time, and then after we left FC America and we joined Orlando City, I got back into it and playing and stuff. And then when we got back to FKK, I played 1 year and saw I couldn't compete on the field. And then I played one game at indoors, and then I saw that I was good, and then I just started playing.
Okay, so obviously a lot of kids have role models or professional players, collegiate players that they kind of look up to. Are there any players that kind of come to mind as far as goalkeepers that you kind of try to emulate your game after?
I mean, no, not any pros, but people that used to play for FKK, I look up to a lot.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, fun fact, my first collegiate game, I actually played in goal. I played the first half on the field as a forward. Our starting goalkeeper got injured. Our second string keeper, so our first string got injured 5 minutes before halftime. She finished out the half. Second string was already injured, and our third string was ineligible. So we go into halftime, and the coach throws the gloves at me, and I'm like, what? I mean, luckily it was just an exhibition game. I believe we were playing against Toledo, Ohio. and I ended up having an assist. I punted the ball so far down the field that our forward, it bounced once, she controlled it, took a few touches, and then finished it past the keeper. So I do have a little bit of experience, but that's about it.
Yeah.
So obviously you're around the field quite a bit with your dad.
Yes.
Kind of touch base on what makes him a really good coach. Like, in your eyes, why is he a good coach?
Well, I always see that he's very positive with the girls, but he also holds them accountable when they need to. Like if they're joking around and stuff, he always like puts them back into the place, stuff like that.
Yeah, I think there's a fine line between making sure that they are enjoying it and they're having fun, but holding them to a certain standard. And I think when I look back to some of my best coaches, they had passion for the game, but they wanted to make sure that there was still a standard in that passion, that you're getting better, you're working hard. Now your daughter, does she play soccer at all?
She played at the beginning
Okay.
when she was 6 or 7, and I think she quickly realized that soccer wasn't her sport.
Okay, so I know that you did play lacrosse throughout high school, and I was watching the videos from Jimmy's Facebook page about celebrating your senior night and your season with Winter Springs High School. Kind of take me through what that meant to you, that your parents did something like that for you.
So it was actually the day that it was scheduled, and we were all sitting at home, and he's like, oh, like, let's do it. Let's have our own ceremony. And we're like, no. So he finally persuades us, and so we all got dressed up. And we go in the backyard, and we held our own ceremony, which really meant the world to me because that was the one day I was looking for the past 4 years. So it was a really nice gesture, and I'm really glad that we did it because I still was able to walk.
Right. Obviously, kids all throughout the country, their senior years are being hugely affected. As far as prom or anything like that, is there any other big moments that you're kind of going to be missing out on?
That was the one big one, but definitely graduation. I'm glad we're able to reschedule that. But yeah, it's a big difference.
And then Cameron, I was going to jump back to you. You're in 8th grade, I believe?
Yes.
Okay, so next year you'll be going to Winter Springs?
No, Winter Park.
Oh, Winter Park, going to Winter Park. Okay. So what does that transition look like for you? Are you excited? Are you nervous? Are you looking forward to it?
Well, I'm excited and nervous because like I'm going in for like a new start, and I'm excited for like the social aspect and soccer too. But like besides that, I'm excited.
Good. I remember going into high school thinking, you're in such a huge, different environment. But I'm sure your sister can attest to that it goes by super fast. All of a sudden it's over like that. So hopefully she can give you a few pointers on how to go throughout high school. Back to Jimmy, just a few more questions. Just kind of to lighten the mood a little bit, outside of soccer, outside of law enforcement, what are some things that you like to do as a person in your free time?
You won't believe it, but me and Cameron fish a lot. We actually purchased our kayaks. My wife forced us to get rid of our boat, which was heartbreaking for me, but me and Cameron fish a lot. So we go out on the kayaks and fish a lot. I used to read more, but I have a very busy schedule, so I don't read as much, but fishing will be probably the best activity for me. And spending time with a 3-year-old, he takes most of my time.
Yeah, he's the next. Is he going to follow in your footsteps, Cameron?
I don't know. I hope not.
No goalkeeping for him?
No.
I know you also like to cook, because I've already mentioned that when this is all over with, I'm coming over for a dinner, because all your posts about all of the dinners you're making look fantastic.
Yes, well, cooking is one of my passions as well, but obviously, I try to do it when I have the time, and now that we have a little bit of time together to spend with the family, I try to do something different every night, and I like to post it, so people give me a hard time about that.
And then last question, obviously during the coronavirus, players are unable to be training with their teammates and even training with their coaches. How are you engaging with your players at FKK or other places to kind of help make sure that they stay sharp, but also that they know that they're not alone in it all?
Well, FKK has a program. Obviously, every week they put a fitness program and also a technical program for them. We do Zoom meetings every 2 weeks with the players. I have an 06 team, which is the U13, and then also have a U14 team. And then I have the seniors that are going to go to college. So the recruiting part right now is very busy because we're trying to be very active. I created a Q&A with college coaches to answer some of the questions that the girls have. So we try to be as active as I can, providing the most information we can for those girls that are going to college, and for the younger ones, obviously giving them some homework to take care of. So very busy, but at the same time, we try to continue to provide the best services possible to our membership.
Well, awesome. Sounds like you guys got it all down with the club. Again, I appreciate you guys taking the time to speak with me, having your kids here, getting their insight. Hopefully you guys stay safe the rest of the way. And again, I appreciate the time.
Thanks again, Sarah. We cannot thank you enough.